What's going on, everybody? I had to sleep on it before I did a review, or I'm sorry, a recap reaction to last night's Miami Hurricanes 28-22 win over the Florida State Seminoles in Tallahassee at Doak Campbell Stadium. I didn't one I cover a lot of stuff, so as soon as that game ended, I jumped into the UFC 320, for which I dropped videos on combat sports as well. So, but really beyond that, I had to really take a breath because if I had done a video last night, an immediate reaction, I would have gone off the rails. I would have gone off the rails because what I saw in the fourth quarter was unacceptable. And that's how you know things are different. That's how you know things are changing. Because I would have been a lot more accepting of that a few years ago. Heck, I would have been accepting of that last year. But what I saw in the fourth quarter, after 3 quarters of sheer and utter domination, really left a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. And I know it did that. I know it did for a lot of Hurricanes fans. It did for a lot of Hurricanes fans. Miami is better than Florida State. Miami dominated this game for 3 quarters. Miami did exactly what I said was going to happen in this game. And I'm going to play a clip from my preview so you hear exactly what I said in my preview to what happened in this game. But to see a 28-3 lead dwindle down to 28-22 to where the Canes field 3 separate onside kicks in the fourth quarter, not to mention the decisions that were made, were wholly frustrating to watch. Because we should have been looking at the fucking score being 42-10, the way that game got played. The way that game got played, Miami should have put up over 40 points. Now I'm happy. We won. I'm happy. But I'm not as happy as I would have been if we had continued to play the fourth quarter, coach the fourth quarter the way we played and coached the first 3. Let's talk about it. Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Hurricanes Unfiltered, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. I'm your host, Rudy Rodriguez Show. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, ring that bell, leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts. Game went how I kind of expected it to go, man. It really did. It really did. And I'm going to play a video for you. This is what I said in my preview coming into the game. This is what I believe would happen. And y'all can take a listen. Check it. So here we go. This is what I said in my preview. This is a clip from my preview that kind of showed exactly what happened to almost to the letter. Obviously not exact, but fairly close. By the way, my predicted score was 34-17. This game is going to be a fight. It's going to be a slugfest. And while I do have Miami winning this game, I'll give you my prediction of this game. Miami 34-17. I think Miami jumps out early, controls the game, and FSU gets a couple of scores in the second half to make it a closer game. That's the way I see this game going. I see Miami taking this game early on, and FSU. I think you'll see a pick 6 at some point this weekend. Tomorrow night, there will be a pick 6 for Miami this weekend. We'll see our first pick 6 of the season because Castellanos is going to airmail a ball or underthrow a ball, and one of our guys will go in there, pick it off, and take it back for a touchdown. Or at worst, get it like real close, and then they punch it in for a touchdown. So I think you're going to see some opportunities for the defense to make plays turnover-wise, which they didn't obviously have in those first few games because C.J. Carr for Notre Dame did not throw the ball down the field. DJ Lagway did not throw the ball down the field. So you don't have opportunities to intercept passes typically when you don't throw the ball down the field. So this game is going to – There you have it. That was my preview of this game. Miami was up 14-3, second quarter. Yes, FSU jumped out with a 3-0 lead. FSU went down the field, used every gimmick play they had in the first drive. They gimmick played their way down the field, and once Miami stopped them, FSU couldn't do anything for about 7 or 8 possessions. Miami's defense wholly dominated the number one offense in America. Dominated. I don't care what the final numbers were. Going into the fourth quarter, Florida State had 220 yards of offense and 3 points. In fact, after their field goal on the first possession, for which Miami stiffened up as they got close, 5 plays punt, 10 plays pick, 7 plays punt, 1 play fumble, 7 plays punt, 4 plays pick, 4 plays punt. And it looked as bad as it sounded. When I hear Castellanos say after the game, oh, we were there, we just turned the ball over. Well, that's part of football. You got stopped. Every one of those turnovers was a forced turnover. You don't fumble the ball by just dropping it. You don't throw a pick by just throwing the ball and no one doing something. Miami made plays on defense. Miami stuffed the best offense in America. The best offense in America. Puffed up by numbers against Kent State and East Texas A&M. Miami's defense did exactly what I expected Miami's defense to do. I said it would be Miami in control early, and FSU in the second half scores a couple touchdowns to make it close. Specifically, they did it in the fourth quarter. Specifically in the fourth quarter. Because for 3 quarters, that was sheer and utter domination and humiliation. 28-3 against the best offense in America. So for 3 quarters, I was absolutely ecstatic. Even though I thought even at that point, Miami probably should have been up more. Miami plays a very conservative brand of football right now. I was very happy to see Carson Beck go down the field. I thought it was a necessity. He abused that secondary. He abused them. Specifically, he went after number 19 all game. Number 19 being Jerry Wilson. Jerry Wilson was on the wrong side of a bunch of plays. And like I said before, if your leading tacklers are all defensive backs, you're going to have some problems. You're going to have problems. Now, Florida State defensively against the run did a great job. I'll say it. They did a great job defensively against the run. Miami did not run the ball that well. I think there's reasons for that. I think FSU wanted to make a point to jam the box up, and they did. But I also think Miami made some mistakes. But let's jump into the fourth quarter. Let's start with the fourth quarter and then move backward. Miami's up 28-3 and completely turns the offense off. I don't understand it. You force a punt from FSU. You get the ball at your 21-yard line, and I'm gonna be real. And I'm not trying to be mean or nothing like that. Every time they put Jordan Lyle in the game, Miami's offense stopped. Every time they put Jordan Lyle in the game, the offense stopped. Because the plays you run for Jordan Lyle are not the plays you run for Mark Fletcher or Marty Brown. They are different style backs. Jordan Lyle has not played in a month. And it was almost like they were trying to force a square peg into a round hole as Miami is grooving. Look, Miami had a 14-3 lead, forced a fumble at midfield, and it completes a 50-yard pass on a crosser to Malachi Toney, and he goes all the way down the 5, but a penalty calls it back. But even in that possession, the first down play was a run by Jordan Lyle for 2 yards. To me, after you forced a fumble at midfield, that seems like the ideal time to go for the jugular and finish them. Go up 21-3. But instead, Miami goes with that 2-yard run, the penalty on the motion, 5-yard completion, and then an incomplete pass. So 4th and 8, Miami punts the ball. Now, to me, that was a lost opportunity. The possession before that one. So Miami scores to make it 14-3. FSU punts. Miami gets the ball at their own 13, and Jordan Lyles in the game. Like, I'm not trying to be mean. This is not the right situation, man. He gets a loss of 1 and puts us behind the sticks immediately. Like, the play that you're calling for this kid is not the play that you call for Mark Fletcher or the play that you call for freaking Marty Brown. He's not a bulldog running back. He's a speed back. Get him in an open space. You trying to run him in between the tackles? The way FSU was playing defense? No, it's not going to work. FSU was stacking the box. They were daring you to go on the outside. They were daring you for this stuff. And I'm sorry, but Shannon Dawson, some of the play calling, I walk away like, why? I'm like, why, bro? You are humming. Don't mess with what's working. So back-to-back possessions in the second quarter, Miami does nothing with the ball. 6 plays, 9 yards. And in both possessions, the feature back was Jordan Lyle. It changes what you do. It changes who you are. Again, this is not about Jordan Lyle. This is about situational football. Situational football. But now you go into the third, and Miami takes the ball and goes 10 plays, 75 yards, and makes it 21-3. Right down the field. Completed with a touchdown pass to Malachi Toney on a 4th and 2, where he just did his thing, man. That kid is special. Then Miami has an interception in the end zone, and on a Thomas Castellanos bad pass, because I keep telling you, he was going to throw picks because he's going to try to airmail some shit, and he did exactly that. He did it twice. The pick with Bryce Fitzgerald. See, people say, oh, that's like a punt. No, that wasn't like a punt because they were at the 40. If you punt the ball, Miami maybe has the ball at the 15, 20-yard line. No, what happened was he threw a terrible pass. Bryce Fitzgerald makes the play, and he returns that motherfucker to the FSU 40. That was the pick 6, big play, set up, whatever I was talking about. It was going to happen. Next play, first play from scrimmage, flea flicker, touchdown. 14-3. Kind of what I said was going to happen. And it happened. Because I know who Thomas Castellanos is. I've watched this kid play for 3 years. Watch Boston College play. He's exactly what I think he is. A great runner who sucks as a quarterback. He can't throw. Now, then Miami gets that pick and goes 80 yards in 8 plays, and it's up 28-3 on a touchdown pass to CJ Daniels. Again, this was a dominating performance for 3 quarters. And still, Miami probably should have been up more. Then Miami decides to go into this shell. And this is where I'm upset. This is why I'm upset. Because, again, let's start off 4th quarter. What do? We got the ball with... So we have the ball at the end of the third. Jordan Lyle for 6, Jordan Lyle for 3, Marty Brown for 2, Jordan Lyle for 2, Jordan Lyle for 4, incomplete pass, punt. Again, what are we trying to do here? This mentality of why are you running? Why are you playing against the clock? There wasn't 3 minutes to go in the game. This is a quarter of the game. FSU still has an explosive ass offense that can move the ball. And if you play a certain way, you're going to give them that opportunity. Like if you told me that Miami wasn't going to score in the 4th quarter up 28-3, I tell you you're crazy. But then I see what they ran on offense. They ran nothing. They didn't try to move the ball. Everything was done like with I don't want to make a mistake to give them an opportunity. But when you just go 3 and out or 5 and out and kick and punt, and you got like all of like 15 yards in the 4th quarter, You're doing the exact same thing. Okay, you've eaten a little bit of clock, but that doesn't change anything. Miami didn't win this game because they ate up clock in the fourth quarter. They damn near gave the fucking game away. Any one of those 3 onside kicks get recovered. We're looking at something different right now, because I'll tell you right now, the way the Miami fielded those onside kicks as well was a concern to me, because none of those balls went 10 yards. None of them went 10 yards. You have to have the ball go 10 yards, and we got guys diving on the ball before 10 yards and nearly losing it. Hey, Wesley Bissainthe, credit to you. You made a couple of big ones there. But again, that ball had only gone 8 yards. The ball was about to stop. So, nonetheless, you give the ball up to FSU. Bluntly, Dylan Joyce's punts were not good. There was a lot of mistakes in this game. Like, let's not act like this game was played perfectly. It was far from clean, far from perfect. The only clean part about it was Miami didn't turn the ball over. That's the one clean part, because Miami committed a truckload of penalties, stupid penalties, selfish penalties, dumb penalties. That just shows you how good this team is. That you can overcome committing, 13? 13 penalties for 114 yards. You can have a team have 29 first downs against you and 14 that you have, get outgained by 60 yards. Again, if you look at the stat box, you're sitting here saying, how the fuck did Miami win? Yeah, you see the 3 turnovers, but how did Miami win? And then you realize that in the fourth quarter, FSU got half their yardage. FSU had 220 yards going into the fourth. Miami had about 320, and Miami completely turned the offense off. Like, after the 10-play, 47-yard touchdown drive that FSU got, which we'll talk about as well, because Miami went full prevent defense. Miami went full prevent mode. They made them march it down the field. They made them eat clock. But they were in prevent mode. And prevent mode historically prevents teams from winning. Thankfully, they had a big enough lead. But those types of defenses are not good for winning. They're the opposite of the team's personality. Like, you cannot create a personality of excitement, swarming, and violence and then play fourth quarter defense like that. You cannot play fourth quarter prevent defense against that team, because that team will take advantage of that prevent defense, and they did. They scored 19 points in the fourth quarter. They had over almost 200 yards in the fourth quarter. We helped them out with some dumb penalties, personal fouls, foolish shit. We gave up 1, 2, 3 fourth down conversions, 3 third and longs. I mean, we were playing 15 yards off the ball. I will never sit back and sit here and watch that shit and say that's okay. That's not okay. This team is too good. So after you have that 10-yard, 47-yard touchdown that makes it 28-11, Miami gets the ball at the 40-yard line because FSU goes for an onside kick. End the fucking game. No, let's do this. Jordan Lyle run for 2, Mark Fletcher run for 1, incomplete. Let's punt the ball again. Not even trying to move the ball. Like, the play that worked more than any play the entire game was that swing pass to Malachi Toney. Short passes to Malachi Toney and CJ Daniels were there all game. This was not the time to run the ball. I know they want to run the ball. FSU was playing to not let us run the ball. And it worked, and it's fine. Carson Beck, as I said in my preview video, would be fantastic. And he was. He was sensational. And in the fourth quarter, you took the ball out of his hands. You took the ball out of his hands. So we punt after a minute and a half and put the ball at the 4-yard line, where they had a fair catch at the 4, which was crazy. But here's this drive. This drive goes 5 minutes. You got a 3rd and 10 from the FSU 4, and you back off and give them a 14-yard completion. What are you doing? You have a 3rd and 8 at the FSU 31. FSU 31, they get a 3-yard catch. Then on 4th and 5, a 9-yard pass. Again, Miami's backing off like 10 yards. They're not even close to making plays on these things because they're playing prevent zone. They're in a zone prevent. They just back the fuck up. Then they had another one, a 3rd and 5, incomplete, 4th and 5, 7 yards for a run for Castellanos, first down. Like it was one after the other, after a 3rd and 10, complete for 2 yards, 4th and 8, complete for 15 yards. And now you got a 28-19 game, and Miami's fucking around. And of course, you're going to get another onside kick, which you did, that Miami recovered. And instead of taking a 40-yard field goal with a minute 12 to go in the game, for some odd reason, they run a pass play on it was 4th down and 8 from the FSU 23. And rather than kick a field goal from 40, you decide to go for it. That made no sense. I don't think that made sense to anybody. You're up 28-19. You kick a field goal, you make it 31-19. The ball game is over. You actually gave them an opportunity to have a chance. Why? Here was the reality. FSU needed 2 scores no matter what. So what was the purpose of you actually going for it on 4th down and 8 from the 23? Look, Malachi was open. Carson Beck had under intense pressure, and he overthrew it. But again, that play made no sense. The play made no sense. The play made no sense. None. So rather than take the points, are you afraid your kicker, who's made every kick, is going to miss? I think we've seen our kicker is doing a pretty good job. He's made some big kicks. He kicked a 48-yarder to beat Notre Dame. And you don't want to kick from 40 to end the game? What's the worst that happens? They block it and return it for a touchdown, right? That's the worst, right? That's the worst, right? So let's say that happens. Let's say they do all that. They're still losing 28-26 or 28-27. And they still have to do exactly what they did and kick an onside kick because FSU had no timeouts left. FSU had no timeouts left. So they're going to have to kick an onside kick no matter what, which they did anyhow, and Miami recovered it, and the game was over. So why not just kick the field goal? Like, why not just kick the field goal? It makes no sense. Because you're probably going to make it. The likelihood of you missing that kick over making that kick, I think, is probably 90% make to 10% miss. But even if you miss, who cares? Who cares? They still needed 2 scores to win. Well, a touchdown and a field goal. If you kick the field goal, they need 2 touchdowns. Unlikely, almost impossible. It's just another example of the things that I question constantly, the decisions that are made. I don't like to question them, but goddamn, I'm going to question them when I see shit like that, where there's no person in my mind on earth that would have done that, would have run that bullshit on 4th down. You kick the field goal. You take the points. The game is over. Instead, you don't get it. The crowd is still awake. They move down the field in 7 plays, go 60 yards, and kick a field goal to make it 28-22, and they still get to kick the onside kick, which Miami recovered. So again, kick the field goal. It was like Miami turned the offense off. I am sorry. You cannot play a 4th quarter that way. You cannot play like you're afraid. It was weird. It went from domination to fear. Domination to fear. What the fuck are you afraid of? You're beating them you put them over your leg, over your leg, like they're your children, and you were belting their fucking ass. And then in the 4th quarter, nah, we're not doing none of that. We're going to be boring, bland, and just run the ball into a wall and punt. And hope that our defense can stop somebody when we're not even allowing them to play the real defense that they play. We're going the opposite of excitement, swarming, violence, and instead we're playing passive, prevent, don't give up the big play. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts in the comments. Look, Miami won the game. Miami's the better team. Miami's the best team in the country. The culture shift has happened. The mindset has switched. I would have been happy with this a few years ago, even last year. This year, I'm not happy with this. And I know lots of Canes fans that are not happy with how this game ended. This was a belt to ass whooping. And we let them make it look like it wasn't because we decided to stop playing. We decided the game was over at the end of the third, and that starts with the coaches. The coaches did that. They changed everything in the fourth quarter. They did everything the exact opposite of what they did to get to that point. You dominated the best offense in America for 3 quarters. And in the fourth, it was like, who are these guys? Who are these guys? But like I said, Miami early on would take over the game, and FSU would get some scores in the end to make it look close. And that's exactly what happened. Carson Beck showed out. Like I said, he would be his best game of the year. It was. It could have been a 300-plus yard game if they let him continue to play. He was crisp. He was accurate. He was fantastic. Leadership. Loved how he played. Malachi Tony is a special guy, guys. 18 years old. This kid is unbelievable good. Unbelievable good. He is going to be a force. He's a culture changer for a program. He reminds me of Santana Moss. People mention Kevin Williams. No, for me, it's Santana Moss because Santana Moss was a program changer. He changed the trajectory of the University of Miami in the late 90s. And Malachi Tony is changing the trajectory of the Miami Hurricanes in 2025. Special. Bryce Fitzgerald, special. Kid's a playmaker, man. He's a ball hawk. Special. These are freshmen. They're going to be here for 3 years at least. We got some good ones there. I'm never going to question Mario Cristobal's recruiting. The man can recruit his ass off. But that fourth quarter, sir, you cannot have gone to sleep last night sitting here saying anything other than, yo, I fucked up. I fucked up. There's no way in the world that you can walk away after dominating for 3 and have the fourth look like that and gone. Yeah, publicly you'll say all the right things. Privately, I can't imagine that you are sitting at home saying you're happy with the way that game ended. And it's largely because y'all decided to change y'all schemes, to go away from what got you there. Don't go away from what got you there, bro. If Miami plays the way it played for 3, plays for 4, that game is 42-10. And there's no doubt. There's no conversation. No, instead we got, well, FSU didn't quit. Or, FSU fought back. Or, Miami held them off. Miami gained 23 yards in the fourth quarter. FSU gained 183. That's why your first down numbers are like they are, because the fourth quarter just made it ridiculous. That's why the yardage numbers look like they look, because through 3, FSU had 220 yards of offense and 3 points. Look. It's a win. It's a huge win. It's a needed win. It's a statement. It's a statement win. But I would have loved it if it was 42-10. I got to be real. I think 42-10 resonates a lot more with national voters. Miami did jump to number 2 in the AP poll today. Whatever. FSU is still ranked in the top 25. I'm actually kind of surprised about that. I thought for sure they would drop them out of the top 25. So now Miami has 3 wins over ranked teams. because Notre Dame, USF, and Florida State are all ranked. And let Florida keep on winning, they will be ranked again after they beat Texas, a game that I picked as well that Florida would win. But y'all let me know y'all thoughts in the comments. How did you feel about that? I want to know how you felt about the fourth quarter, because we all know what we saw in the first three. By the way, I don't remember seeing JoJo Trader play at all. And I guess, again, this wasn't a shot at Jordan Lyle. I don't have a problem with Jordan Lyle. Call the plays that fit Jordan Lyle's game. Call plays that actually utilize his strengths. Speed. You don't throw him into the back of a wall, bro. He's not the same type of back. And that's what I'm talking about. You changed your offense. Every time they put him in, the offense just like, if you look at it. Every time they put him in the game, the offense bogged down. Because they were trying to run the exact same plays they run with Mark Fletcher and Shamar Brown with Jordan Lyle. Not the same back. So, Miami has an off week next week before coming back to play Louisville on the 17th, which is a big game again. Louisville is coming off of a loss. They lost to Virginia in overtime in a game they could have won. But this will be a big game for Miami. It's a Friday night game, 7 p.m., October 17th. So got to get right back on it. No messing around. But that's all I got. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts in the comments. I want to know what you think about that fourth quarter, the game overall, and all that stuff in between. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell. This is Hurricanes Unfiltered, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. Come on now.